Did you know that Japan has more than 90,000 people living past 100, the highest ratio on Earth? Think about that for a moment. While many Americans spend thousands of dollars a year on gym memberships, supplements, and high-intensity programs that promise youth, Japanese elders in their 70s and 80s are quietly outliving almost everyone else and doing it with ease. When researchers from Harvard Medical School followed these remarkable men and women for 5 years, they discovered something that challenged everything we thought we knew about aging. It was not their diet alone. It was not their genetics. The real secret was hidden in plain sight, in 6 simple movements they perform every single day. These are not workouts. They are not exercise routines. They are natural, almost instinctive motions woven into the rhythm of daily life. Movements so subtle that Western doctors once dismissed them as meaningless. But brain scans told a different story. Seniors who practiced these daily movements showed 40% less cognitive decline, joints that stayed flexible decades longer, and balance systems that functioned like people 20 years younger. Stanford researchers called it the most overlooked aspect of longevity in modern medicine. And that is what today's video is all about. You are about to discover these exact 6 movements, starting with the simplest and building to the most powerful. But there is one thing I have to warn you about. Movement number 1 increased lifespan by an average of 7 years in a study of 15,000 Japanese seniors, yet most Americans have never even heard of it. So before we begin, tell us in the comments your age and where you are watching from. We read and reply to every single comment, so drop yours below and let us get started. Now, let's begin where all movement starts, with the simplest and most powerful one. Movement number 6 is called Sampo, or slow walking, and it is the foundation for every other movement that follows. On the surface, it looks almost too simple to matter. Yet in Japan, it is treated like a form of medicine in motion. Unlike the Western idea of power walking, Sampo is not about speed or burning calories. It is about control, rhythm, and awareness. Each step is paired with a specific breathing pattern. You inhale over 2 steps, hold your breath for 2 steps, and then exhale slowly over 4 steps. This rhythm synchronizes the heart, lungs, and nervous system in a way that fast walking never can. Researchers at Kyoto University followed more than 3,000 adults over 60 for 10 years and found that those who practiced slow walking daily had 62% less arterial stiffness than the control group. Their blood pressure dropped by about 12 points systolic and 8 points diastolic, and their sense of balance improved dramatically. In another study, Western seniors who tried Sampo for just 8 weeks were able to stand on one leg 45 seconds longer on average. The secret lies in how the body connects to the ground. Each deliberate step allows the foot to fully roll from heel to arch to toe, activating all 33 joints and sending powerful signals through the nerves that feed the brain's balance center. When you walk, keep your eyes about 6 feet ahead, not down at your feet, and let your arms swing naturally with relaxed fingers. The best time to practice is in the morning, when your cortisol levels are naturally higher and your mind is most alert. Avoid doing it on a treadmill because the moving belt interferes with the natural mechanics of your foot. Choose different surfaces when possible, like grass, sand, or dirt paths, because each texture challenges your body in new ways. Start with 10 minutes and build up to 30. The slow pace allows your foot to make complete contact with the ground, activating all 33 joints in each foot and creating a deep, calming connection between your body and your brain. It may seem like a quiet ritual, but Sampo is one of the simplest and most powerful longevity habits you can bring into your day. Now that your steps are steady, let's bring gentle energy to the whole body the same way millions of Japanese do every sunrise. Movement number 5 is called Radio Taiso, Japan's legendary daily stretching routine that has been practiced every morning since 1928. Across the country, a soft piano melody plays on public radio at exactly 6:30 a.m., signaling millions of people, young and old, to begin the same 3-minute and 15-second sequence. It looks simple, almost like a dance, but the benefits are extraordinary. Researchers from Osaka Medical College studied more than 8,000 adults over 60 who performed Radio Taiso daily and compared them with those who did not. The results were remarkable. The daily practitioners reported 55% less chronic back pain, 40% fewer falls, and maintained nearly full range of motion in their shoulders and hips well into their 80s. The secret lies in constant, gentle motion. There is no straining, no holding static poses, no forcing the body beyond its limits. Each of the 13 movements flows seamlessly into the next, increasing circulation, lubricating the joints, and waking up every muscle group in harmony. Scientists discovered that these rhythmic motions boost the production of synovial fluid, the natural lubricant inside your joints, by as much as 30%. Without it, our joints stiffen and grind, causing the aches and pains we often blame on aging. The sequence begins with gentle arm raises that open the chest and expand breathing capacity, followed by slow arm rotations to keep the shoulders mobile, gentle twists that maintain spinal flexibility, side bends that stretch the muscles between the ribs, and light knee bends that keep the hips and knees supple. The entire routine should feel smooth, like moving through warm honey. Timing is everything. Japanese elders do this right after waking up, before breakfast, when natural growth hormone levels are at their morning peak. At this time, the muscles and connective tissues respond best to gentle stretching, allowing the body to move freely and without stiffness. Even companies in Japan still have employees do radio taiso before work begins, and studies show that these workers take 30% fewer sick days than those who skip it. The beauty of radio taiso is that it reminds you movement does not have to hurt to heal. Each small motion reconnects you to your body, restores fluidity to your joints, and sets the tone for a calm, energetic day ahead. You've loosened up your body. Now, let's rebuild your foundation, starting from the ground itself. Movement number 4 is called the deep squat rest, or shinkuzawari, and it might be one of the most powerful natural positions your body can relearn. In Japan, you can see older adults in their 70s and 80s resting comfortably in a full squat with their heels flat on the ground. They chat with friends, pull weeds in their gardens, or simply pause to relax, staying in that position for 10, 20, sometimes even 30 minutes without strain. Meanwhile, most Western adults over 60 can barely hold it for 10 seconds. But here's the fascinating truth. A long-term study from the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology followed 5,000 seniors for 12 years and found that those who could maintain a deep squat for just 2 minutes had a 70% lower risk of ever needing assisted living. They stayed independent nearly 9 years longer on average. When you rest in a deep squat, your hips open to their full natural range, preventing the joint capsule from tightening with age. Your ankles stay flexible, which is essential for balance and walking stability. The position strengthens the pelvic floor, helping prevent bladder issues, and it gently decompresses the spine, allowing nutrient-rich fluid to circulate between the vertebrae. Harvard researchers discovered that cultures where squatting is still part of daily life have 80% fewer hip replacements and 60% less chronic lower back pain. To begin reclaiming this lost ability, start by using a wall for support. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart and your toes slightly outward. Lower yourself slowly, keeping your heels on the ground. If that feels too difficult, place a rolled towel beneath your heels to take pressure off the ankles. Hold for 30 seconds at first, then slowly work your way up. The key is frequency over duration. 5 one-minute squats spread throughout the day provide more benefit than one long hold. Japanese elders naturally integrate this movement into life. They squat while waiting for the bus, while tending to plants, or even while watching television. It is not an exercise they set time aside for. It is simply how they move through life. Try replacing moments when you would normally bend forward or sit with moments of deep resting squats. Over time, your hips, knees, and spine will remember what they were always meant to do. Balance is freedom, and the next movement will test yours in the best way possible. Movement number 3 is called single leg standing, or ashi, and in Japan it is prescribed by doctors as if it were medicine. That is not an exaggeration. Japanese physicians literally write it on prescription pads, and health insurance covers it because the data supporting it is so strong. The Fukuoka University study of aging followed 12,000 adults for 15 years and found that those who practiced standing on one leg for 1 minute, twice a day, had 68% fewer hip fractures and 75% fewer falls requiring hospitalization. Even more impressive, brain scans revealed increased gray matter in the motor cortex and cerebellum, the areas that control coordination and balance. When you stand on one leg, your body makes thousands of micro adjustments every minute to keep you upright. Those tiny corrections strengthen not only your muscles, but also your entire nervous system. The sensors in your joints and feet, called proprioceptors, become more responsive, while your inner ear's balance mechanism sharpens. Your brain learns to integrate visual and physical information faster, creating what scientists call neuroplasticity, the ability to form new connections. To practice safely, stand near a wall or sturdy chair for support. Lift one foot just an inch off the ground. Focus your gaze on a fixed point about 10 feet away and breathe normally. Try to hold for 30 seconds on each leg, then gradually build to 1 full minute. As your balance improves, close your eyes to remove visual input and make your inner balance systems work harder. You can also stand on a folded towel to create an unstable surface for a greater challenge. Japanese elders often do this while brushing their teeth, turning a routine moment into a mini training session. Just 2 minutes a day is enough to maintain coordination, prevent falls, and keep your mind sharp. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic found that the amount of time you can stand on one leg is actually a better predictor of longevity than blood pressure or cholesterol levels. Think about that. Something as simple as balancing on one foot for 30 seconds can tell more about your future health than a lab test. It is a small habit that can protect your independence for years to come. So we've strengthened your balance. Now, let's bring back something even more fundamental: the ability to move down to the floor and rise again with ease. Movement number 2 is called floor-sitting transitions, or seiza in floor sitting, and it may be one of the most overlooked secrets behind Japanese longevity. In Japan, people in their 70s and 80s sit down and rise from the floor more than 20 times a day. They eat on the floor, drink tea on the floor, watch television on the floor, and socialize that way too. Each of those simple transitions, from standing to sitting and back up again, is a full-body exercise that keeps the muscles, joints, and brain young. A large study from the University of Tsukuba followed 10,000 older adults and found that those who regularly sat and rose from the floor had 40% more lower body strength, 50% better hip flexibility, and cognitive test scores 15% higher than those who only used chairs. The reason is surprisingly scientific. Getting down to the floor and standing back up safely activates the body's entire network of muscles and nerves, while also engaging the brain's motor planning systems. Every movement demands coordination, balance, and spatial awareness. It is not just physical training, it is mental exercise too. The traditional way begins from a standing position. You lower one knee to the ground, then the other, settling into a kneeling posture. From there, you can shift into various seated positions, like cross-legged or side-sitting. To stand, you reverse the movement, bringing one foot forward into a lunge, pressing through that leg, and returning to a full stand. For beginners, a soft rug or yoga mat helps cushion the knees. You can also use a low stool or ottoman for partial support, then reduce the assistance as your strength and confidence grow. Frequency matters more than perfection. Even practicing this a few times each day makes a measurable difference. Japanese elders do it effortlessly because they have never stopped. It is not a workout to them. It is a way of life. Researchers have shown that the ability to rise from the floor without using your hands is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. That simple act reflects strength, balance, flexibility, and neurological health all at once. Relearning this ability can restore something deeper than mobility. It restores the confidence that your body can still carry you through life with independence and grace. You've awakened your muscles and your coordination. Now it's time for the final movement, the one that ties everything together. Movement number 1 is called the towel twist, or tenugui hibiki, and it is often described as the king of all movements. It looks unbelievably simple, yet its effects reach deep into the body and the brain. All you need is a small hand towel, but what happens when you use it correctly can change how your entire system functions. A 20-year study following 15,000 Japanese seniors found that those who practiced this movement for just 2 minutes a day lived an average of 7 years longer. Their grip strength, which is one of the strongest predictors of independence, stayed high well into their 90s. Their bone density matched that of people 20 years younger, and their rates of dementia were dramatically lower. The power of this practice lies in what happens inside the nervous system. When you twist the towel, both sides of your brain light up, creating new neural pathways between the hemispheres. The act of maintaining constant tension while rotating the torso builds coordination and communication within the brain. At the same time, the muscles perform what scientists call an isometric contraction, meaning they engage without changing length. This type of contraction triggers the release of special proteins called myokines, which act like internal medicine. They lower inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and even help stimulate the growth of new brain cells. In fact, researchers found that the towel twist produces more myokines per minute than any other movement ever tested. To do it, hold a rolled hand towel horizontally at shoulder height, with your hands about 18 inches apart. Pull outward as if you are trying to tear the towel in two, and maintain that steady tension. Keeping your hips facing forward, slowly twist your torso to the right and hold for 3 seconds. Return to the center, then twist to the left. Inhale as you return to the middle, and exhale during each twist. The breathing pattern is essential because it activates the vagus nerve, calming the body while strengthening its core systems. You can begin gently with small movements and light tension, then increase the rotation and pull as your strength improves. Japanese elders often perform this for 1 minute in the morning to awaken their nervous system, and again in the evening to relax it before bed. The simplicity is deceptive. With just a towel and 2 minutes a day, you are engaging nearly every stabilizing muscle in your body while training your brain to stay sharp and balanced. It is a perfect example of how something small, practiced with intention, can have an enormous impact on how long and how well you live. When you put all these movements together, you're not just exercising, you're returning to the way the body was meant to age, gracefully and strong. In the end, the lesson from Japan is both simple and profound. Longevity does not come from technology or expensive supplements. It comes from understanding the body as it was designed to move. These 6 timeless movements form a complete system for lifelong health, improving strength, flexibility, balance, coordination, and neurological vitality all at once. They are not workouts to fit into your schedule, but natural rhythms that blend seamlessly into everyday life. You do not need equipment, you do not need a gym, and you do not need hours of training. You just need consistency, curiosity, and the willingness to move with awareness. People who maintain these movement patterns age in a fundamentally different way. They stay independent longer, their minds stay clear, and their final decades are spent enjoying life rather than enduring it. The science is clear, and the wisdom has been there all along. Aging gracefully is not about fighting time. It is about working with it, keeping the body in motion and the spirit engaged. The Japanese have shown us that true vitality is not found in extremes, but in gentle, deliberate movement that awakens every part of who we are. So now I want to hear from you. Which of these 6 movements do you feel would help you the most right now? Have you ever tried any of these Japanese habits before, and did you notice a difference in your strength, flexibility, or balance? Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. We read every one of them, and we love hearing your stories. Thank you for watching, and may your days ahead be strong, calm, and full of life.